Yeah, this is DJ Professor K, baby, the master of mayhem, know what I'm saying? Bring you another Tokyo Underground pirate radio broadcast from Jet Set Radio. I'm gonna bust into your head through your cute little ears and blow your mind with my sexy voice and out-of-sight sounds. Those of you prone to nosebleeds should keep those tissues handy, suckers. Tokyo is being oppressed by the Rokkaku Group, a mega enterprise headed by Rokkaku Goji. Rokkaku is using his money and influence to mess with everything, industry, society, and even our culture. And he's even got his eyes set on City Hall. Lately, Rokkaku's been shaking down the government, passing that Rokkaku law crap, even buying off the police department. This law ain't nothing but garbage. It's just some selfish little punk's way of trying to show he's a big man. Rokkaku and his gang are trying to stomp out our culture left and right. They don't give a rip about our rights. All they care about is profit. And some spineless fools have already become flunkies in their diabolical scheme. You better believe they're listening in on this broadcast. But even in all this heat, there's a group of young kids who've been tearing up the streets. I'm talking about the Rudies. These kids have set out to bury Tokyo and defeat it. And now they're all wrapped up in their own little territorial tug-of-wars. The hottest team at the moment is the GGs. There's Yo-Yo, a guy who'll blow your mind with silver tongue. And Gum, a real cool lady who leads a trail of broken hearts wherever she goes. And let's not forget their leader, a self-styled genius that goes by the name of Korn. These three ain't your garden variety street punk. Know what I'm saying? Lately, Tokyo's been on one bad trip. The attack on the record store on Chuo Street, prowlers in Dogenzaka Hill, lowlifes spreading vicious rumors, the mysterious blackout on 99th Street. And who should be following them around but the Rokkaku Group's watchdog, the Rokkaku Police. With the Rokkaku Expo just around the corner, the crackdowns are only getting tighter. My heart ain't pounded like this since my first date. I was so nervous, know what I'm saying? I forgot to wear my underwear, baby. This ain't the time to be sitting around sipping afternoon tea. Game's gonna start soon, and y'all gonna be the one making the plays.
Okay, maybe not the most American thing to play on the day before Independence Day, but hey, it's Sega Channel Retro, and we are all about freedom and liberty. And this game is kind of like that. It's Jet Set Radio Future, running on an actual Xbox, not on the 360, which would basically make this game run like crap. But it's basically, if you've never played this game before, it's pretty much just like the original Jet Set Radio, but the environments are much larger, and it kind of doesn't bog you down with time limits unless, you know, you get to like certain points in the game. But because of that, it encourages you to explore more. By doing that, it gives you, I would probably argue, like, better control over your character. Like, the idea of, like, to me, this game feels more like a platformer with an extreme sports gear, you know, tie-in, which people would kind of, you know, which I would assume people would rather, like, you know, if they were like, hey, it's a sports game, why not just play Tony Hawk? Well, it's not quite like that game where it's all about trying to find the best combos. I mean, that's part of the game, but it's not its main focus. But because it, you know, with its greater emphasis on exploration, it has, I feel like, better control, and gives you, like, a better idea that you need to try, like, techniques like wall jumping here, which I kind of screwed up, and trying to maintain a good speed as you hop from grind rail to another. And that gives you, like, you know, better platforming puzzles to deal with, which, and of course, since this game isn't really strict about, like, its movement, it doesn't really penalize you if you land tricks wrong or anything like that. But let's move on. Let's get this game going.
Yo, 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 all right. Let's get this party started. I'll be your audience, so let's see what you got. Someone done stole the goddess of the streets, the statue of Dogen Zaka Hill. I bet the punks who did this are the same ones who are spreading all them nasty rumors. Cover Dogen Zaka Hill in graffiti and flush out those rumor-spreading scumbags.
Alright, first thing you'll notice off the bat is we're not playing Beat anymore. In fact, who knows who that guy is? In fact, this is the future. Although I did pass up two other Jet Set Radio characters that we are familiar with, which is Gum and Korn, who was known as Tab in the previous game, at least in English. In fact, a lot of Jet Set Radio characters are returning in this game. But you won't get to see them until much later. And it's kind of funny how they have, like, widely different roles as a result. Alright. Right, so as Professor K said earlier, we need to figure out who stole that statue. And the first thing we're going to be doing is doing what we did in the last game, which is tag the walls with graffiti. Which is done completely different. And much faster. As long as you have enough spray cans, you can complete a tag on a wall. And of course, since there's not really a score or time limit to deal with, it's mostly, again, just a means to try and get you familiar with, like, the environment and how it all works. On top of that, you have a map. I mean, you have a map in the original, but with this one, it tells you where, I mean, pretty much where every tag is. And that, once we do that, then it progresses the story forward. Oh. There we go. Unfortunately, since I was a Nintendo kid, I never really grew up with this game, but after I started getting familiar with this and the original Jet Set Radio, I kind of prefer this game more so than the other one. And again, I think it's partially because of the fact that it's just so much easier to explore around the area, and it's a lot more rewarding than the other one. And much quicker, too. And I just missed some tag spots here. Oh, there we go. So you'll notice me doing tricks on the rails, which is actually a new feature here. If you tap the X button in time, not only does it give you more points, it also makes you go a lot faster. And alternatively, you can also do tricks in the air, press the X button, and you'll keep doing tricks that way. Oop. And you can also hit the B button, and it gives you an extra boost so long as you have 10 spray cans. But first...
Time to flush out those rumor-spreading punks.
Hey, this guy looks familiar. So now we're going to get into the rival battle portion of Jet Set Radio Future. Oh, it's so confusing. Why is Beat evil or something? Yeah, just a small example of like how more free-flowing it is. So I messed up that jump on purpose. Normally in the original Jet Set Radio, it would cause you to fail the mission and basically have you redo that trick all over again. But since you can see the map and see where the character is at all times, and it already shows you where you need to skate to, it's less annoying and less tedious in my opinion. I'm sorry, I'm getting wrapped up by listening to this music, as David the Lurker in the chat is pointing out. Hideki Naganuma is still manning, for the most part, the soundtrack, with David Soul and Guitar Vader and Richard Jacques returning, as well as some other odd ones. Yep, just like Professor K is here. So now you don't have to go to individual levels. Everything is connected together. So if we access this, we can use it to basically change characters at any time and save progress. So now it's not done automatically. See, so now Beat is challenging us to a race, but since we've gone through the entire level, now we know where everything is.
3, 2,
And I think I mentioned earlier about that boost also helps out pretty easily too. Although I kind of wasted on that. So we'll just do this. Ah, lovely. So you can also hit the Y button to do tricks, but you have to hit it slower than the X button. And it turns you around. Ah, it's so satisfying. I'm sorry. Everything is a supercharged compared to the last game, like I said. But it makes you wonder, like, what would have happened if this game had stuck with the Dreamcast, which, if I'm not mistaken, was supposed to be planned for that system until Sega up and decided to get out of the console business and just split off its projects based on what they figured would have worked best for each platform. And while Sonic got the best benefit out of it, most of Sega's other properties, like Jet Set Radio, unfortunately, did not really see the same level of success. But, you know, people at Microsoft definitely were big on Sega, so much so that they eventually started bundling this game with game systems. Not a bad deal for this game. Although, considering the fact that Halo was basically the platform, was the game of choice if you bought an Xbox, most people kind of dismiss this game. Now, we didn't have to go through all the shortcuts that I took, but it definitely gives us a good lead. And now we finally get to play as the star of the original Jet Set Radio.
All squads. Youths on skates have been sighted in the vicinity of Doganzaka Hill. All squads investigate immediately.
Hey!
Right, so now we're going to get into one of the new features of Jet Set Radio Future, which is combat.
Yo, the Rikaku Group's dogs just showed up, and they probably ain't looking for your autographs. Let's use those pretty white shirts and do some serious artwork.
So like Beat was trying to tell us earlier, if we don't feel comfortable doing this, we can just go ahead and head back to the garage, the safety of our garage, or we can just mow these guys down and spray them. It's not exactly the hardest thing to do. Again, just like tagging graffiti spots, just hold the R trigger and you'll immediately tag them. Eventually you'll get to points where you need to use the boost mechanic to take down thugs that are, or cops that are a lot stronger than your character. But that's if we get there.
Shibuya Terminal has been covered in some kind of ugly, freaky-looking graffiti. Head to Shibuya Terminal and cover that stuff up with some real artwork, please!
You know what, today's Freedom... Well, tomorrow's gonna be Freedom Day, but today on Sega Channel Retro, it is our dedication to Freedom Day.
This is Shibuya Terminal, the city's biggest non-stop dance party. Let's hit this joint and cover up that freaky-looking graffiti.
So here's the thing, right? We have 4 characters available now, so anybody who wants to sound off in the chat...
Damn, it's Poison Jam! I can't believe they're showing their ugly faces in broad daylight. Shame on them. Are they the ones behind all this?
So sound off for whichever character you want to play as. Currently I'm Yo-Yo. Of course, you have the choice of Beat, Gum, and Corn. Although I never really played this game with Yo-Yo once I unlocked Beat. Because I still feel like Beat is like the best designed character. Although Yo-Yo's not too bad. Now this song is probably familiar to those who've played the original Sega All-Stars racing game. Ah, here we go. So you know, vote for Gum. I'll spray it a couple more places and then switch over. There we go. So again, this game is very easygoing compared to the last game. And again, the platforming challenges start to become even greater at this point. We could go back to the garage, but there'd be no point for now. But now you can grind up on pretty much everything in the game, which makes, again, the platforming challenges seem so much crazier. Although people would probably argue, since for the most part, you're probably going to be grinding on these rails, there's not really a whole lot of input for you to be doing anything. Eventually, it's going to get to the point where you do have to chase down different targets that are a lot more mobile. Well, potentially a lot more mobile than your character is. Also, if you mess up your tricks, you get this noise. Annoying, but not a big deal. So Linobro pointed out in the chat, which is actually a pretty funny thing to make note of, the voice of Mario is also a character in this game, which is Rokaku Goji, but you don't get to hear from that character until the very, very end of the game. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I expect that a lot, because I haven't really played this game religiously, so I have a vague recollection of where everything is. As you can see, I passed something up. I assume it's here. Nope. And of course, the game is still just as floaty as it was before, so you're still going to be making some insane jumps. Let's see. I remember before I was doing this stream, I was talking to Barry the Nomad of Sega Bits, and he was talking about how basically he feels like the Xbox is basically the successor to the Sega Dreamcast, and I can kind of see that. Especially considering the fact that it got some of the Dreamcast ports that were made by Western developers, especially like Toe Jam and Roll 3, which, as people kind of know, is not terribly great. There we go. Okay, so the giant orange swells are representing the graffiti souls, I believe, and the yellow swells, the smaller ones, are going to be the graffiti points that we need to tag. But yeah, back to that Xbox being the next Dreamcast. It's kind of funny considering Sega was literally in talks with Microsoft to try and get Dreamcast emulation on the original Xbox. I don't know how I would feel about that, especially considering, you know, Sega was kind of trying to spread their works a little equally across, you know, as much as they could with the, you know, there were then competitors. There we go. There we are. So yeah, notice Fake Name of was mentioning that he couldn't really figure out how quite to play this game, and I did kind of feel the same way with both this and the original Jet Set Radio. But I think it's just like how unusual like the game's goals really are. There we go. Because it's not an extreme sports title, and again, I think when you kind of try to associate a game with familiarity of what you have with other games, like, say, a first-person shooter, it can kind of make you think differently of, like, what you're supposed to be doing with the game. I'm missing 3 spots here. Ah. There we go. Try and grab that graffiti soul. Whoop. Oh. Yeah. While I do feel like this game does play better than the original, the game is still very floaty with its jumps. It can often lead to some really miscalculated shots. There we go. Okay, so I can see that there's one tag that I missed over there, and it's covered up by the graffiti soul swell, and there it is, and that's that. Alright, so now we scared out Poison Jam, now we gotta go challenge them. Oof. Here they are. Before we do that, we get a request for gum. There we go. There's still differences for each character in terms of like power and speed, although graffiti tricks aren't really that important anymore. So that's the thing that I thought was really weird about this game is, so you heard like those trick failure sounds, but like, why would the computer players be making those same mistakes as you could? That I could never quite figure out. Ah, before we continue, there's this little cassette tape here. What that does is give us the remaining objectives that we need to get more graffiti souls. So, say if we were to grind with a 10x combo, that's not a grind rail, a graffiti soul randomly appears in the level, and then we can go collect it that way. And of course, graffiti souls, just like in the last game, give you different pieces of graffiti that you can use to decorate the levels with. So if you find a lot of these challenges pretty easy, sometimes it can get deceptively difficult with a lot of those, with a lot of these other ones. In fact, it shows that you need to go to platforms marked with a Japanese kanji symbol, which I can't quite read. And as you can imagine, especially for like English-speaking players, that's Not exactly the easiest thing to spot out. We just... So just like that, did 3 air tricks, and it activated a Graffiti Soul spot. So yeah, we don't even really need to do the platforming challenges anymore to progress with the these challenges. It's more of just like a generic hide-and-seek kind of thing. So now they're going to be running off, and I think that might have something to do with, oh, they got scared off by our good friend Combo. And by our good friend, I mean was our good friend in some other time. Seems kind of strange that future generations of these Jet Set Radio characters basically indicate that they look exactly the same, and they're named exactly the same. There we go. Alright, looks like this might be a tag battle. Oh, no, wait, no, it's just another grind challenge. So actually, what I was mentioning before of, like, doing these platformer challenges, I think with this, it might actually be very strict of, like, what you need to do in order to be able to achieve his challenge here. So yeah, if we fall down, we're going to lose, so let's try not to let that happen. Oh. No one saw that. No one saw that. As long as we can clear this giant jump, that's all that matters. There we go. I guess it did count. Oh well. So let's try that again. It's a little hard to tell where things are sometimes, judging from some of these jumps. But after a while, you'll get used to it. You'll know where everything is, and then you'll be able to take care of these platformer challenges without too much of a hassle. And there we go. Luckily it didn't give us a game over. Because if it does give us a game over, then the game basically stops. And if I don't save my progress, that's bad, because then we lost all that, all the story progress, and you have to start over. So now we have Combo, but we're going to stick with Gum for now, and chase after Poison Jam.
HQ to all squads. There are reports of youths skating near Shibuya Terminal. All units in the area, please investigate. Repeat, all units...
Yo, kid.
Alright, so we should be getting closer to like one of the main points where the cops kind of surround the levels and become a real nuisance when it comes to, you know, finding out where things are.
Why is it so hard for you to catch a few little punks? Hurry up and arrest them!
Alright, so now we're being chased down by the new head of police. Ooh. That's bad. As we can see here, he's now in this fight too, and if we're not careful, he's going to take us out. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, we really only need to take out the inspector. I don't know, it's a total of 21. And we are about to lose if we're not careful. Oh. He has a lot more health than the other ones, so we gotta hammer in on him. There we go. So yeah, like I said, if Gum dies, that's it. Let's try not to let that happen. If you get started by cops, you have to go slow down to a crawl. Alright. Yeah, I'm in concentration mode, so I don't screw this up. But basically, the main nuisance that we have to worry about is gone, so I don't have to worry too much about death. Looks like it's time for another broadcast.
The station feared and revered by both man and beast. Jet Set Radio, citizens of the underworld. This is your king speaking. Stop what you're doing and listen up. Seems that Poison Jam's graffiti contains a lethal poison, makes people laugh themselves to death. They followed up their performance at Shibuya Terminal with encores at Chuo Street and in Rokkaku Dai Heights. Those Poison Jam punks got as much attitude as they are ugly. And Poison Jam has been heating up the streets with their rivalry with the queens of 99th Street. Rapid 99! These ladies hate seafood with a passion and fight with those fish-faced fools. Poison Jam, like cats and dogs. If you can find them out there in the streets, they might slip you some information. And then, there's Hayashi, the Rokkaku Police Force's own personal version of hell on earth. I mean, even his own partner's afraid of him, because when he loses it, there ain't no telling who he'll shoot at. I mean, he's crazy. Check this out. Just the other day, he freaked out and trashed a patrol car. And why, you may ask? Because one of his subordinates went to buy him his favorite mint candy and came back with coffee flavored instead. What's up with this fool?
Right, so now we're back at the garage. But we're gonna stick with Gum. There's not too much you can do in the garage, although it basically acts as your collection of characters that you've earned. Like action figures, almost. And they give you, like, plot-relevant dialogue for each character you have unlocked. So now we're given the idea that we should go to Chuo Street. But then there's this guy right here, or this robot. He gives you just, like, this is where you get to set all your different graffiti, and you can change the background music to whatever you want to hear. And it looks like you can choose from every song in the game, so I'm going to go with the most annoying one. I said, oh, I guess it won't let me do that. I guess you have to play through the game and unlock more songs. But he also trains you how to play the game. So that's why you'll hear him say, hey, you need to do this. Oh, I guess I bugged the game out a little bit there. Alright. Right, so we can't get to Chuo Street straight from the garage, so we have to go through whatever connects to it, which is Shibuya Terminal. I don't know why I like this song, even though it's incredibly annoying.
Hey, crank up the volume and wake up the neighbors. Are you hearing this or what? Is your heart pounding with the beat? Am I getting through to you? Show me what you got. I'm counting on y'all.
Right. So in the middle street here is where we need to go for Chuo Street. So let's go this way. Eventually the game does branch off to where you can go through each different city in Tokyo.
This is Chuo Street. the heart of Tokyo's entertainment district. Now get out there and bury Poison Gem's nasty graffiti and paint.
As I appear out from there.
HQ to all squads. A gang has been spotted near
Oops.
Willow Street. All squads to investigate. Repeat.
This is Hayashida HQ. Send in all the...
Understood. HQ to Armored Division.
Oh boy.
All tanks prepare for emergency deployment.
This is Armored Leader to all armored units. If you see those punks, blast them!
So yeah, once we start tagging these environments, it'll eventually start bringing out more cops. But again, we don't have a time limit to worry about, and tagging the walls is a lot less strenuous. So that was like one of my problems with the original Jet Set Radio, right? Where if you tag certain areas, you start getting different forces of the police start coming out. And then sometimes you get to the point where some of them are just so frustrating to deal with, so annoying that you actually kind of hurt your score. So there's sort of a strategy involved where you have to find the more troublesome spots and then tag them before certain types of cops arrive.
Armored Division to HQ. We have acquired the target and are commencing attack.
The streets are turning into a demilitarized zone. I don't think them combat vehicles have to obey traffic signs. Take out them nasty iron behemoths.
Alright. That's right. So there's also a lock-on mechanic. And I noticed that all the graffiti tags are gone, so I think it wants us to go fight these tanks now. Yeah, we pull the left trigger and we can start locking on. And then they can fire at us. Ooh. There we go. So as long as you can graffiti tag the tanks, then you're good. But that means we can't do anything until the end of this part of the mission. This is gonna be a little bit tricky because Gum doesn't have a whole lot of health. Oh, I got this. There we go. Alright, so there's... Oh, this tank again. I guess once you tag it, then you have a cop that sticks out like this. That's when you can tag him, and that takes care of that tank. So in some cases, it's a little more tedious in some of its challenges, but again, I still feel like these environments are a lot less annoying to deal with. There we go. Oh. There we are. This game definitely does look really nice through component cables, which is what I'm using right here on the Xbox. Surprisingly, I thought these were going to actually be a little harder to find, but I actually found one new in a box at a specialty game store for like $30. Although you could probably find them for a lot cheaper than that these days. I chose to do that since playing this game on an Xbox 360 is, again, like incredibly laggy. And again, kind of reinforces my issue with emulation that you can try and get it to be as accurate as you possibly can, but since the architecture for both the Xbox and the 360 are radically different, it's hard to make it, you know, 100% accurate. And that probably explains why this game has not been converted to other platforms. Now Hayashi is challenging us, and he's right there. So let's go see what he wants. Yeah, it's a shame this game is not on other platforms at the moment. In fact, I think it's kind of a miracle that the original Jet Set Radio made it to anything besides, you know, outside of the Dreamcast at all, let alone a PC version. there's Hayashi right there. Ah, it's another boss fight. Although, if you really want to call it a boss fight. But same deal as before. You just gotta knock him off, knock him over, and then spray his back. I say let's go for it, even though I'm kind of lacking in health. And you don't need to go up there that way. Whew. Alrighty. So now he's disappeared, and now we can tag the streets just like normal. Alright. Let's see. Alright. I think what's happening is that the tag spots are up there, so look for something like this. There we go. There we go. So now we have to be on the other side to get the other tag. Whoops. Other way. So yeah, I've pretty much explained, for the most part, like what you do in this game. And it kind of gets a little repetitive if you know, if you're not really into like into the environments and whatnot. So I do kind of feel like it's more like a spectacle game, and while there are some challenging bits that are kind of a little strangely paced, it is kind of, you know, kind of neat to kind of explore, just get lost in. In fact, there's actually a lot of these challenges are tied into the other component of the game, which is multiplayer, since this is actually the first, I mean, the first and probably the, and it's not the only Jet Set Radio game that has multiplayer in it, but it's basically one where there actually was a legitimate focus on it. The other game being the Game Boy Advance version of the original Jet Set Radio. But neither game doesn't, I mean, both games don't really share multiplayer game modes, but you could expect Mario Kart-like racing modes where there's like power-ups you can shoot, like bombs, and of course collect paint cans to perform boosts and whatnot. The multiplayer mode also has two different kinds of environments, with like one made for, you know, specifically for 2 players, since I believe that's what the Xbox can handle. You know, it's able to handle these kind of environments for at least 2 people. And then there's also the 4-player levels, which are a lot more simplistic. But again, it's kind of simply designed, probably because of the fact that there's, you know, for 4-player, you have like tiny screens, box screens to deal with, which probably would make it a little hard for multiple people to explore environments like this. And of course, RAM limitations and whatnot are likely a factor too. I keep trying to hit pause to unpause, and it brings up the GG notebook if you hit it on accident. Ah, back over there, and then that's the last 2. Ah, yes. So this area is pretty cool if you want to try and do like a bunch of different jump combos. Oops. Environments like that are what are necessary to be able to take care of some of the platforming challenges when you have to race against other characters in this level. Oh. Ah, and these should be the last two right here. Oh, I think there's a way. There we go. Probably not supposed to go through that way. But that's where the last graffiti tag is, and I want to try and get over there without having to go around. But it looks like it does. It kind of takes a while to get over there. Oh. Let's see if we can go backwards. I do want to try and see if I can get to some of the crazier levels this game has to offer. And I may just jump into a later save file to show it off. There we go. There we go.
That's right.
Looks like those little beast dudes have arrived. Please don't feed the animals.
There's another one of those weird ones. Songs I'm talking about, that is. Whoa. Girl in Aisle 10 is pretty good too, which Sean555 was referencing, I think. Oh, here we go. Poison Jam. So now we have 3 other characters we have to deal with.
2, 1, go!
As long as we get to the end, it's fine. One thing I think is kind of weird, I mean, not too weird, but like I was mentioning earlier about the multiplayer mode in this having like power-ups you can fire off and whatnot, those power-ups don't really bleed into the single-player portion of the game. That's probably kind of for the best. Especially if you want to deal with, like, power-ups kind of being flung out of nowhere. That's probably why, you know, games like this kind of rely on you being able to see, like, where the other players are at all times. It also gives an indication of, like, where, you know, if power-ups might be coming your way. Go. But yeah, still got a pretty decent lead, and I should be able to keep it so long as I can, you know, keep up with this little platforming challenge that's going to be coming up here. There we go. There we go. Now, even though there hasn't been a port of Jet Set Radio Future, it's not like it's going to be impossible for it to happen. There have been other Sega games that were converted from Xbox to other platforms, including like PC and like the Nintendo Wii and stuff like that. like House of Dead 3 is also on the Nintendo Wii. There's Crazy Taxi High Roller that's also on PC, as well as the original Xbox. Alright. So now we gotta go to Rokkaku Dai Heights. Oh. And to get there, we have to go straight back to the garage. Oh, trying to look at the chat here. Right. Why is this my favorite song? I feel insane. Alright. I think we got another... Oh, that's Hikage Street. We don't want to go that way, that's right. Back to the garage. Whoops, other way. There's another song that I listened from Chiba Mato, who made this song here, which is Know Your Chicken, and it is I don't know. I guess it's exactly what you might think it is, if that means anything. It involves like a giant chicken and two Japanese singers who sing in English and do a pretty good job of singing in English, but God, that song, all their songs were just weird.
This is Rokkaku Dai Heights, an abandoned hill that time forgot. Poison Jam is always prowling around here. Bury it in graffiti and put the smack down on Poison Jam.
HQ to all cars. Youth spotted in Rokkaku Dai.
There we go.
All units converge on the Rokkaku Dai area. Repeat.
There we go. We'll just go ahead and stock up on that.
Back? Oh, no, not again. I didn't even get to eat breakfast this morning. Oh, well.
He seems like a fine guy. Right, I think we're about to get to a different challenge here with Poison Jam in just a moment. Oh, don't spray the... Yeah, you can just spray the air and it does you, like, no good. I don't know why they let you do that, but they did. But now we're starting to get into areas of the game where some of the platforming challenges start to become a little treacherous. There we go. Ah. There we go. Yeah, it's hard to keep in mind like where all the graffiti tags are at. Ah, there we are. Okay, so here's these points, and this is where Poison Jam ran off to. There we go. So now we fell into a trap. But again, these kind of just pop out of nowhere. And as you can tell, it's not that difficult to take care of these challenges. So that's all three of them. Zap. See that? Brought it down to the brute strength. And here's Poison Jam. And we're terrorizing this woman who just wants to feed these birds. Although I would never want to be surrounded by birds like that. I had that happen once before and it was not the most pleasant thing in the world. So they may be trying to deliberately put these platformer challenges here just to kind of give you an idea that you they really want you to start going up. Hey, look at this.
It's Morty, Mom, isn't it?
Ah, try to bust it. Oh, I did. Haha. Yes, I know. Right, so now let's hit this. Sometimes the game can get kind of boring, especially if you're just trying to figure out where everything is. Like I said, a lot of these are very deliberate to try and encourage you to check out everything that is around here without being too obvious about what you need to be doing. In fact, in some cases, it might actually be vital because there are certain, like I said, there's like skyscraper levels where there is just a bottomless pit, and you just have to avoid it as much as you can. And I just took damage. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So there's an example where we need to use the boost technique to be able to take them down. Ah! Get up there. Yeah, there we go. So here's an example where we need to jump correctly, otherwise we get caught in these invisible walls. And you're not supposed to see anything in there. Whoops. Yeah, there's a billboard right there, and here.
You got a great soul.
Alright. Shows this back alley area. But yeah. So here we go. Now these levels are starting to get tricky to the point where you can lose a lot of time, or waste a lot of time if you just go fall off like that. So it makes it a little trickier to try and get back up. Luckily, when it comes to grinding, you can pretty much stick to these rails with no problems. Yeah. Ah, here we go. So I think this is a one-off area. And if you mess up, you do that. So I think we just fell down. Now we gotta fight our way back up. Yeah, now we're back at the warehouse, so now we gotta go back. And basically once, you know, areas like that, you just find more like graffiti souls. Ah. Other way, please. Thank you. Oh boy, yeah, we're not doing that again. Right, so the rest of these are going to be up there. So we have to climb, we have to ascend at least one more time. Alright, so now we got about 5 more left. And one more police ambush to kind of send us off. Oh, I'm out of cans. Kind of a problem when you're dealing with a lot of guys in suits. And then you can't really boost out of situations like this until you're back on your feet. Gets kind of messy, as you'll notice. That's probably a bad idea to get that, but we're gonna get it just in case. Yeah, luckily, a lot of them kind of get knocked over if they're also hit by other cops. But if they don't get hit, then they kind of make it easy for you to get hit and get caught up by the collision of the other cops. Luckily, in situations like this, they spit out a lot of these cans. So now I think we're going to have to deal with one more boss fight with this guy. His NES Zapper. Again, use the L button, you can lock on very easily. And that takes care of them. Oops, one more. One more to go here. Oof. And missed. Oh. There we go. Ah. I do say, like, sometimes I kind of wonder, like, if during development they kind of felt like they, some of these platforming challenges were a little too difficult. So you have like this giant platform in the middle here, and it's just a giant grating. Like realistically, somebody would probably like drop stuff down there, or fall through like small critters would fall through the little cracks there, through the pipes. And what I'm getting at is, you think, like, they would have an environment to where it would be a little more realistic and probably a little more decrepit, so it wouldn't be that easy to kind of keep yourself up like that. Alright, so now we have one more area. And that will probably take care of this Poison Jam escapade going on here. Or will it? In any case, we need to go back to the garage and go straight to 99th Street. So now it's just a small little venture just to get back to the garage. Well, let's try this little challenge one more time. Never mind, I screwed up. Again, if you don't remember where anything is, it's annoying to deal with. Oh. But first... grab that for the future. Right, so I see a blue spot. Oh. That might be because Poison Jam might be up there. Or something like that. Because I know there's graffiti still up there. But it seems like we can just go ahead and go straight to 99th Street anyway. So let's just go ahead and do that. Oh. I'm getting a request for playing Shenmue on here. Unfortunately, I haven't played a lot of Shenmue 2 on Xbox, because I've never really finished the first game. And I'm one of those guys who refuses to play anything, you know, play a sequel unless I finish a prequel, that kind of thing. What I'm trying to say is, I also don't know where anything is in that game. Whoa. But I think what I should do... I do have one other game on the Xbox that I do want to play. It's not Panzer Dragoon, but I say is equally important to Sega's history.
This is 99th Street, the city's hottest nightlife scene, centering around Benton Tower. Here is just one bloody showdown after another, because it's where the Mafia kingpins keep their offices. And there's been some bad stuff going down lately, ever since the mysterious power outage. And Rapper 99 seems to have made this their home. Alright, my people, it's time to give 99th Street a new paint job.
HQ to all squads. There are reports of youth skating near 99th Street.
Yeah, this is where the environments get really good looking. And by that, I mean, I just really like nighttime scenarios like this.
Commander to all personnel. The use have been spotted in the area. All personnel
And here we have a giant drop where we'll take damage if we don't land, if we just jump off and land. Like this. Just shake it off. That was like several skyscrapers tall. Just shake it off, gun. Yeah. But yeah, at least there's like a little city area. And, of course, the central area here that kind of dominate this level. But you know what? I think we should go ahead and move on to the next game that I have in mind. Once I figure out which one of these is the save point. Oh, come on. But yeah, hopefully Sega will eventually bring this to other platforms, because it is a noteworthy game, especially for like Jet Set Radio, because you don't have any other game coming after this. There we go. Now let's go ahead and make a save file here. Alright, that's it for Jet Set Radio. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take a short break, and I'll come back with the next game in our Independence Day stream, so stay tuned.